Hey guys, Tarap here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Ladoga, Karelia. And today spawning on the right we have Revolution playing as COH2. Straight away locking in Spec Ops. Yourself against him on the left we have Jove playing as US Forces. In his loadout is Armor Company, Urban Assault, and Rifle Company. If it is a little bit old, maybe Jove preparing for the Balance Invitational. So trying out some of those slightly off meta commanders. In terms of ranks, actually, I forgot to mention that Jove rank 3 US Forces at the moment, and Revolution rank 30 OKW. So interesting to see, we do have a Kubel, but slightly overdrives the mark there. Pretty big map this one, especially if you want to get to like these far points. The munitions and these corner standard territory points can be quite a chore to run down there with your infantry, so quite curious to see how the Kubel gets on. Did see some wire going down on this building for Jove, wanting to deny easy access to it for Revolution. It looks like Revolution's going to pull the same trick on the building on the opposite side. It seems to be quite a common move on this map, I've noticed. A popular one. Echelon trying to get the neutralize here. And do. Nice cut-off maneuver from Jove. Meanwhile, in the north, Kubel gets forced away by the rifleman. Maybe was facing the wrong direction. Didn't get much damage done on the opposing squad, as you would expect. Rifleman pushing onto the fuel here, but the light cover has been lightly wide off. Still a little bit of action over here. We do have a Fox Grenadier nearby, going to come fight. Maybe the Stern Pioneers coming in from the other angle. Looks like he's bringing in the Kubel, but before the point got captured. Slight mistake. So the Kubel play so far for Revolution has been not what I'd say on point, a little bit sloppy. We are now overwhelming numbers for Revolution storming in, forcing away Jove's units. Pretty well handled that assault from Jove. Revolution forcing him off, bringing his forces in for a pretty good assault. Down a mine behind this, and interesting, we're going to see a Kubel with 4 Fox Grenadiers behind it. Jove has gone for a sweeper as well. Pretty smart play when your first bunch of munitions is US Forces. You know when you're going to find a mine.
We have a lieutenant reporting in for duty. The capture point is being overrun.
Echelon does get forced off, but still maintaining control of this cutoff down here. And here come the riflemen pushing back out strongly. There is a huge OKW force here, however. Easy to repel, and Revolution hasn't got up to harass Jove's fuel at all, which should lead to a very fast light vehicle timing. Very, very low on health, but still 5 mils each, dishing out, models each rather, dishing out so much damage, and there we go, 3 of them dropping a heartbeat. Pulling away with the Kubel. Could die to one AT grenade, and maybe was worried about that squad hitting Vet 1 and being able to launch it, so backs away. Good play there in the Kubel. Something you have to be cautious around, like the Vet 1 timings of the rifleman can catch you unawares. See a new grenade into the building straight away, right on the door exit as well. His wire backfiring on him there. Jove taking so much damage from that grenade. Actually going for an ambulance. Got a couple squads back in base waiting for healing as well. Oh boy, and this is a rough retreat path. Stern Pioneers could jump out of the building here, and they do. Good work from Revolution. Trying to pounce on this move from Jove. Mine gets triggered by the lieutenant, perhaps saving the rifleman's life, and they escape 3 models somehow. Lucky break for Jove. That very easily could have been a wipe. There we go, ambulance in there now for Jove. Didn't go for the M20. Probably going to be going for the Stuart though. We have a mechanized down for Revolution. And now he's going for a Raketin, in fact. Interesting. Did get cut off for a little bit. I don't think he's so far behind that he needs to go for a Raketin at this stage. But maybe he wants to go for Raketin with the looks. Rather than looks Puma or straight Puma to counter AEC. I mean the Stuart rather. I'm not sure. You know, you can, as you can see here, Revolution a little bit tied up in terms of manpower, going for these extra units, the extra Kubel. I mean the build not quite flowing as well as the standard build order, that extra unit. Costing him a little bit of time there. Push out onto the fuel there for Jove, regathering it quite easily. Also making moves in the south. People out here with the infantry awareness going, or detection rather. There we go. Stuart about to take a Faust. Slightly late on the retreat afterwards, but it's away. Let's put a mine down in the exact same spot again. Interesting. Kubel is free to do a bit of action here whilst this Stuart is out for repairs. And Raketin creeping in behind this, going to set up in a camo position. Maybe catch the Stuart as it tries to assault the Kubel. We'll have to wait and see. Revolution has been having a little bit of trouble hanging on to his territory and harassing the opponent's territory. And is indeed going straight for the Puma here, so should be able to handle the Stuart very handily with the Raketin and Puma combo. Raketin in a nice angle. Gets a shot in. Mine triggers as well, rifleman forced away. His Fox Unit is very low, doesn't have any med kits in base at the moment either. So Pioneers came up here for the cut-off, get that, and then jump into the building. Quite low on health themselves. Getting onto this territory point here, but Fox are there to repel. And Puma going Stuart hunting. Jove heard this through the fog. Activates the shell shock. Puma doesn't want to risk chasing it any further. This rifle squad very close to Vet 1 as well. Potentially throw out a snare.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
And now we're getting some sweeping done. Shoe mine detected at the rear echelon. And it looks like Jove has tech weapon racks, so starting to get some bars going. And because Revolution, you're spending a lot of munitions on the healing, spending a lot of munitions on the mines, the squads are going to fall behind the barred up riflemen. Might make infantry play a little bit tricky for him. That means he really needs to dominate the light vehicle phase, really needs to knock out this Stuart. Jove has been floating quite a lot of manpower. Usually you'd see a 50 cal or two slotted into the build right about now. Speaking of machine guns, MG34 on the battlefield for Revolution.
The capture point is being overrun.
But overall, not a super high action game. Both players at 4 command points at the moment. See some faster accumulation, some like Von Iver matches and similar. And wow, Revolution is going to go for looks after the Puma.
Crew standing by for orders.
Once again, Rakitten in basically the exact same spot. Forces away the Stuart. Puma trying to soften up these squads. Looks like we've got double bazookas on this rear echelon. Trying to find an angle on the Puma now. He's actually going to try to destroy this cover. It's been used against him. Got one bazooka connecting. Second one missing. Bit of a late reaction. Must be microing in the north. Mine goes off. Pony's backpedaling. Speaking of backpedaling, looks like the Puma did after taking a couple more bazooka rounds. And we actually have a mortar from Jove. Interesting. I can understand it on this map. It's a pretty large map, pretty wide map. Accounts might have trouble in these more early game phases where you have to switch sides a lot more frequently. Infiltration grenades, pretty well dodged though. But the looks is there and the riflemen have to retreat. Also help against the, yeah, there we go, the buildings. Getting rid of the MG. And oh, this, oh!
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
That was a close call for Revolution. I was going to say, he didn't retreat straight away, didn't reposition or anything, didn't start moving it on top of that, so if he did end up spotting the squad, set up, it would have gone down there. Mortar team got in there for some big damage as they were bunched up on the door exit. There we go. He's going to be able to retreat with his mortar team. He's getting forced away in the north. Stuart being escorted by the bazooka team, safe from the Puma. Puma being out of question for quite some time, receiving repairs. And looks like Revolution building another truck. Maybe going to put down his battle group for some healing. Chasing away these riflemen. Oh, forwards Rakitten gets one shot in on the Stuart, but now under heavy fire. Looks like it's going to get decrewed here. Oof, Stuart actually didn't go in for the chase down. And away it goes. Puma in the back lines. Looking for an angle. Looks just ripping into that squad.
Capture complete.
And Jove playing it safe, pulling back with the Stuart, finally bringing in a 50 cal. Imagine if he had a 50 cal during this push, would have got so much more territory under his control, but better late than never. Finally spending a little bit of his float as well, but still has around 500 manpower spare. Shows that he hasn't really been bleeding too much this game. Has got his major underway though as well. Not too far away from a medium tank. And because this has been, as I mentioned, like a slightly low action game, Revolution's still a long way away from the Command Panther call. So it could be to Joe's favour. Oh! Okay. Bazookas come in from the top. Knockouts the Kubel. Heavy depth Puma also quite low now. G repositioning away from the mortar team. Looks coming in. 50 cal there with the AP ammo equipped. Can do pretty decent damage to even the looks. Especially if it exposes its rear armor. The kitten behind this. Perhaps the looks going for a little bit of a bait. Stuart switches sides, chasing away some squads here. A little bit risky. I think with one Faust he would go down at that amount of health. Ooh! Slightly late retreat on this squad. Bar squad switches targets and gets the white. Good pick up there for Jove. And that's 2 things down now for Revolution. Oh, but he's going Stewart hunting. The bazookas are there. Misses the first shot with the Puma. Pops the smoke. No shell shock activated. Still no shell shock activated. And there he goes. Stewart going down, and now Puma speeding away. Or maybe not. Squad trying to get into the retreat path with an AT grenade. Bazooka still hot on its heels. This will be a close call for the Puma. I don't think it's going to be able to get away alive without some big time support. Between a rock and a hard place. Become the rear echelon. Puma has excellent line of sight, so he can see this unit coming. Trying to dodge away. Smoke activated now. Just before the bazookas fire. There they go, but this is still alive. One of the bazookas missing. What a pixel of health here. Puma trying to escape. I think even the rifle fire here from the lieutenant might get the kill, especially on the rear armor. And there we go. Puma does end up going down. And Builder shell landing on the stern pioneers also might go down here. Only reacts. But yeah, that's a string of losses there for Revolution. Box Grenadier, Puma, and Kubel. Did get the Stewart at least. But that has sped along the clock a lot. 10.25 CPs now, so not too far away from the Command Panther. Still needs a decent chunk of fuel for it, however. And Sherman about to hit for Jove. Sometimes, you know, when you're not in a really good position, trying to squeeze in the battle group before the Command Panther can backfire on you. Which is what we're seeing here. Potentially the Command Panther is going to be delayed. We're going for the battle group and the healing. But man, Jove just so good with his positioning on this bazooka rear echelon squad. Very impressive play from him so far. Some sandbags back here. Here comes the Sherman, looks right there. Where's the Raketen? On the other side. Oh, big shot from the Sherman. Could go in for the white. And these 2 Volksgrenadiers. Raketen slow to react. Basically no reaction, in fact. Coming now, but under bar fire. Luckily, Sherman missing so many shots in a row. These Volksgrenadiers should buy a lottery ticket if they escape, especially this 2 Model 1. If they do escape, you do also see Jove selecting Urban Assault and picking up the Dozer Blade upgrade. Which is, I think, really nice against OKW specifically. Extra shot to kill. White Phosphorus is very strong against Raketens and infantry blobs in general. Objective secured. But yeah, the extra shot durability counts a lot, especially when you're getting ambushed by Raketens. Does have a little bit extra armor as well. Can help against things like Panzer Shreks especially. Okay. Jove now going for another squad of riflemen. Interesting. I thought maybe it would be a decent time to side tech, get out the captain, maybe go for an AT gun, because you have to expect Command Panther coming in sometime. Oh, and actually, that's exactly what he's doing.
How's it taking one of our points?
Well, there you go. But yeah, he's just got so much manpower spare this game. Hasn't been a super high casualty match. For Jove at least. A few wipes on Revolution's side.
Our supply line just got cut off. A capture point is under attack.
German making waves through the middle. Some nice hits in. There we go. Path is clear. Command Panther can be called in, and here it comes. Pretty well timed by Revolution as well. Saved up the exact amount of manpower he needed, and just got there in terms of fuel. Had pretty good control over the last couple of minutes. And now he's going Sherman hunting. Sherman switching rounds to the AP. Bazooka's there, coming to support. And they're enough to deter the Panther from chasing in any further at the moment. Panther coming around the other angle. Missing another shot on the Sherman, and there we go. Sherman does escape with its life. Pretty well handled by Jove as well. Good positioning once again with his bazooka re-echelon, enough to deter the Panther from chasing in. Potentially getting the kill. That's actually a time where using the coordinated fire is of help. I would imagine would change the shots to kill, whereas in many cases it does not, so not always super necessary to use. Okay, Revolution now branching out to the north. In a little bit of trouble holding this fuel in the south. Trying to catch Revolution napping. Looking for a snare on the Command Panther here. Ends up chasing slightly too far. Soon Pioneers take another beating in the middle. That mortar going to town on them. Ooh, Bazooka squad also taking a lot of damage. They're still in here with the looks doing quite a bit of damage, but here comes the bulldozer to the other side. Well, the dozer blade upgraded Sherman to the other side. Popping off the white phosphorus. These squads now very, very low on retreat. Still on the armor piercing round though. Panther switching sides. That's enough for Jove to not chase in for the kill. Doesn't have the support to chase in any further. And here comes the Command Panther going Sherman hunting. Spots it, doesn't quite get a shot off, and a squad there with an AT grenade threat. Enough to deter the chase. For the kill on that sandbag as well. Jove has got his AT gun out now as well. And we actually saw a, I haven't really talked about it yet, but an infantry support gun for Revolution to try and soften up Jove's team weapons. Can also be very useful for laying smoke, especially in the middle. Because at the moment this 50 cal causing them a few headaches in terms of capping these VPs. Jove's still floating a huge amount of manpower, has been basically all game. But he's got a very comfortable army size right now. Basically all he needs. Could always go for maybe a second AT gun into the Calliope. I don't know if that's on his radar as a unit to build, but it'll be very effective at wiping squads, especially with the close range barrages. Some good hits in there with the Sherman. He comes forwards. In one right there, but slightly out of range. Command Panther pulls back. Baiting these squads into the machine gun here, but M1 setting up. Bounces the first shot, didn't activate the AP ammo. Penetrates on the second, Command Panther pulls back, nice smoke usage. MD did reposition, however. M1 still there, still hanging in.
We're losing a capture point.
Bouncing shots again though on the Command Panther. Ultimately, Jove has to pull back. Needed maybe machine gun support or something to help hold the line. And the MG position, or reposition rather, from Revolution was strong enough to hold the line. Echelon bazookas coming up. Connecting with the Panther, doing some good damage. Sternpioneer's there though. Starting to chop away. Oh, M1 sets up.
Capture point is being
Now the
overrun.
Command Panther doesn't want to chase him any further. Use smoke on this, maybe? No. Just must be slightly out of sight range of the central point. Trace grenades, but Jove charges through, doesn't take any damage. And these riflemen with double bars now, outscaling these TG Fox Grenadiers. Revolution would maybe need some ogres to deal with the double bar rifles. Not on the agenda anytime soon though, a little bit low on fuel. Tick up, get the Shreya, and Joe following this up with a Jackson as you would expect. Oh man, what's going on here? That tree physics. What was that? Oh my god.
A capture point is being overrun.
But yeah, Jackson supporting the
Tank destroyer is ready
Sherman
for
with the
orders.
dozer blade upgrade. You know, this thing can just wade forward, soak up the damage. Jackson can pop shots from long range safely behind it. Something that US forces often, or does generally miss. Something that can soak up the damage like that. Oh man, Sherman getting in there for some big damage.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture
One
points.
does make it out alive though, but a lot of bleeding. Then comes the Jackson. Kitten is there. Revolution having a few issues at the moment. The positioning. Now finds a comfortable spot. On for his second MG34 as well, helping him force back Joe's infantry. Smoke grenade onto the machine gun, but Revolution already on the dodge. G34 gets the suppression in though. Might be able to crawl out of it right on the edge of the arc. And here comes the Sherman, in fact. You have the kitten right there. Oh, and connects with the mine at the same time. Sherman in a little bit of trouble now. Trying to launch smoke. Slows him down quite a lot launching off that smoke. Command Panther misses the killing blow. Just needs one shot to connect. But he doesn't find it. The M1's there. Command Panther has to back out or risk going down itself. Lucky break there for Jove. Should have been escaping by the skin of its teeth. Revolution's going to be a little bit sad about that. Does have the repair upgrade on his mechanized regiment, so... Oh! A little bit careless there. Jove making use of the take aim, the extra sight and range on the M1. Coming in clutch there, getting a super long range kill on the looks. It really shouldn't have happened for Revolution. Which is why I wasn't looking at it. Jove taking full advantage. You know, a lot of people don't use take aim, but also very powerful ability on this AT gun. Honestly, the M1 might be the best AT gun in the game. So long as you have the munitions. Probably is. Jakal getting flanked here.
Points are down to 300.
Pretty even in terms of VPs. Heard the announcer. Both players floating around 300. Very tight match so far. Take a look at KD. You can see Revolution actually slightly ahead.
A capture point is under attack.
Just smoke gun going to work. That's a lot of bars. Oh no. Oh, and squad down for Revolution.
75mm gun carrier.
Do we have a Shreya down though for Revolution, and now can finally get the overs if he chooses. Should help him out. He saw these double bar squads. Oh man, once again, big shots onto the Dozer Blade upgrade Sherman. Oh, and a long range shot from the Panther secures the kill this time.
Medium tank was just lost.
There we go, finally picks it off. I thought it was going to escape, you know, I was like, oh man, that's the Dozer Blade extra health coming into effect right there. Panther connects super long range. Oh no. Stern Pioneer's down in the north. Not sure exactly where. Maybe that. I'm not sure, but Stern Pioneers are down. So a couple of losses for Revolution despite picking off the Sherman there. Jove still has so much manpower himself. I wonder if he's going to go for another Sherman or maybe for another Scott next. We have some major artillery coming in here. Revolution notices and retreats in time. Doesn't see any damage. Infiltration grenades over the hedge. Don't quite clear out the mortar. Very, very close. That hits Vet 3. Now Scott doing some sneaky firing. These sight blockers. Doesn't auto fire like a mortar does across these sight blockers as well, so either you have to barrage or attack ground. Does require a little bit of micro. Ooh, oh man, he basically dodged right into that one. Okay, there we go, Jackson getting in there for some damage. Kitten trying to sneak into a relevant position. Overs on the field. Energy upgrades on their way, but not there yet.
Crowds show 300 points on their line.
Jove pushing aggressively here.
We're losing a
little bit
capture
too
point.
much fire. We're losing control of the center. Scott comes forward for some direct shots. Jackson repositioning, trying to find the Command Panther. MG's doing a good job here. Revolution pushing forwards nicely. Oh, grenade in. No dodge. Squad down again. Not quite creeping forwards yet. Panther pushes back. Have a dodge on that grenade. Interesting to see. Shooting at the sandbags here, trying to destroy them. Oh, and we're getting in position now. Doesn't fire off any shots with it, trying to get as close as possible, hoping to get maybe 2 shots off with the Raketten rather than just 1. Oh, and he hits one of those light AT mines. Raketten is there. Jackson might be getting baited in here. Gets out of there. Command Panther wasn't in range for another shot. Oh man, there's so much firepower from those bars. Raketten dropping rapidly. Here comes the suppression. Oh, and it saves the day.
A capture
Also going to have to retreat potentially. No, second machine gun. A nice angle. Mortar goes to work though, softening up. This one does have to reposition. To count on the north, shutting down the overs. Jove pushing in from so many angles. Grenade in. MG out. One thing Jove unable to do at the moment, get the triple caps. So even though Revolution is on the back foot, he's not falling too far behind in the VP game. And his tech positioning, helping him hold the line. And now a follow-up Panzer IV for Revolution. Oh man, I think he was trying to... Was he trying to dodge with that? It looked like he was repositioning at the very least, but Majority gets the job done. Decrews it, gets rid of the veterancy. Oh, E4 in a bit of trouble. M1 up here in support. Command Panther... Oh man, what's he doing? Looks like he was going to try 1v1 it, but didn't realise the M1 was there and abandoned. Also, big grenade. Trendy get away. Command Panther comes forwards, but also taking some big damage. Maybe should have come in through the center. And unable to kill the Jackson in response. Jove just slightly outclassing Revolution at the moment. Still keeping all of his squads alive, getting some nice pickoffs. Really good positioning with the supporting AT all game. But this could be a bit of a battle for the abandoned Panzer IV. Imagine Jove hasn't killed it yet because he wants it. Oh no. Comes forward for the kill. M1 gets 2 shots off. Oh, bounce on the bazooka, saving the day, Panther. Oh wow, that was crazy. Revolution taking a big gamble there to stop it falling into enemy hands. Almost cost him his Command Panther. Look at all this variancy. Look at all that for Jove up top. Everything's super vetted, whereas Revolution lost so many squads this game.
Overrunning one of our capture points.
Unable to compete, and now Jove finally getting the triple cap going.
We're back to full strength.
Jove pretty close to his army limit though. Doesn't really have room for much more. Can go for the decoy, of course. So maybe it's the kill on the Shreya up next. Might try softening it up with the mortar counter carriage combo. And comes forward. Ooh, Scott getting good help. Shot in. Nice to retreat past all these barred up squads. Raketin probably going to go down here. Under the cover of the Shreya though, so not going to fall into enemy hands, but still, that was a Vet 4. Bit of a shame to lose all that veterancy. He's now getting in there for some damage, close to Vet 1. He really needs the Vet 2 on them though. Scott getting some good shots in as it backpedals here. Making use of the barrage.
Enemy infantry in force. We're losing a capture point.
Okay, we've got some artillery flares up. Seeing where those units are, allowing the Raketin to get some long range shots in. Captain sprinting forwards, but MG in a nice position. Sees it coming long range as well, so starts suppressing super far away. Shuts down that assault. Panther finally back up to full, ready to do some more damage at Vet 2 now as well. And he wants Once again, the artillery flares also helping the infantry support gun do some barraging, get rid of the 50 cal there. So behind the artillery flares, Revolution finally getting some territory under his control. I think that's one thing he's been missing throughout the match, but hasn't really had the munitions to spare for those artillery flares. Good grenade. MG's going to get away, but pretty sizable infantry force in the south for Jove. MG repositioning. Setting up now with the incendiary rounds. Here goes the lieutenant. Scott now getting in there for a barrage on the machine gun. Missing its mark. And one there in support though. That's in the first shot. And the Command Panther connecting with the second Jackson coming up behind this. Also connecting. But Revolution has secured the central VP, relieving some of the pressure here. Both pushing aggressively in the south. Revolution also going up into the north with the Overs. Oh, there we go. Scott getting in for some big damage on the MG. 2 models down. It's one thing that you have to be scared of using the Obers. You know, Scott can just almost one-shot them. Pretty scary. Slightly late on the retreat. Will he get punished? No. Guess I'll make it away. This Scott doing quite a lot of damage, 9 kills on it so far. Forcing Somi used to move away, taxing Revolution's micro quite heavily. Jove once again setting up the triple cap. Revolution still not too far behind. Infiltration grenades more thrown on the door there. Jove holds his ground inside the building. Manages to escape. Jackson comes forward, bounces the first shot on the Panther, and doesn't have the re-echelon bazookas. They're back at base, just completed reinforcing and healing. So Jackson doesn't really want to take a head-to-head fight with the Command Panther in the middle, close range. Getting creeping around the side, maybe going to try to get a rear angle on the Jackson. Chasing away squads again all across the map. Comes to Jackson to get some long range hits in. They're pushing forwards, but Jove well on top of his range control. And the Jackson had a very precise range there. So the range of the Command Panther. Getting flanked by the Overs, has to retreat. But Jove in a very strong map control position right now. Sitting pretty with a huge amount of manpower in the bank as well. Here comes the Command Panther looking to get some damage done. Bazookas are there in support this time. Command Panther forced off low in health. Has got some Stern Pioneers, rebuilt them to aid with repairs. Taking some heavy fire here. G34 finally gets the suppression in. Smoke from the re-echelons to cover the MG. But the squad should be able to keep them suppressed, and in fact the infiltration grenades, the threat of them doesn't quite come off, but they do cost you munitions and go on cooldown. And Revolution finally making some headway in the north this time. But still getting drained on VPs, 100 remaining for him. Losing that Panzer IV before, really sitting back so far. It was like he's finally about to turn the corner and then just got shoved all the way back down. Yeah, I mean, Jove, if he loses anything, he can just rebuild a whole army, basically. Got about 4 Shermans worth of resources right here.
Gather round. I smell orders.
The capture point is under attack.
In the north, chasing down the Scot. Bazookas are there, so is the Jackson. Scott getting suppressed in the middle. Hope is forced away. Have hit Vet 2 now though, that's the magic number. Should start fighting very effectively against all these double bar squads now. They'll be looking for some crush action here. Jackson coming up. Oh, Command Panther connects long range thanks to his excellent line of sight. Jackson returns fire, and now Command Panther taking a snare, but connects again on the Jackson. Kind of risky to chase in with it. Don't know where the Raketin is. Raketin sneaking in through the middle. Oh, look at that grenade! What an arm!
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Oh, here we go.
We can now deploy a smoke
Raketin
screen to blind the enemy.
could find an angle straight through the middle here. Sits up slightly in the wrong position. Now Jackson going Command Panther hunting, chasing it down, but main gun crit! Oh, that's a lucky break for Revolution. Raketin connecting from the sneaky angle. Doesn't get the kill on the Jackson though, perhaps... well, obviously would have been better if he saved the shot, but wasn't controlling it at that time. There's so many things to micro all at once, did Revolution. Can't blame him.
A capture point.
But, you know, that was a pretty lucky break. Command Panther very easily could have gone down there without the main gun crit.
A capture point is being overrun. Infantry.
Now Jove getting more territory under control.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Comes the P4. Ooh, that building is so low now. Gets out of there in time. Made in enough to flatten it. Okay, now we've got a Collide P4 Jove. This thing is a wiping machine, but you have to be careful. Doesn't have that much anti-tank under his control. Now facing down a Panzer IV on top of the Command Panther. Gonna have to be very careful again with his positioning. He's been good with it throughout the whole match. You know, these bazookas have been in the right place at the right time almost every time, but gonna have to be extra cautious now with the extra Panzer IV on the field. Made in. I think we haven't seen Jove use much as the Molotovs in this commander. Gonna just stand though in most of these scenarios, going for the Regan grenade. Oh. Long range Calliope barrage, maybe hoping to get the overs on retreat, maybe soften up the TET structure a little bit. Kill the infantry support gun. Some pretty good damage, but no kills. And just a heated VP fighting for both players.
Sherman, ready for action.
Revolution getting very low, down to 69 now. Okay, P4 flanking the M1. This is what I was talking about. Jove without quite enough AT. Here come the bazooka re-echelon, but if this gets decrewed, and there it goes. Jove, Jackson here now in support. P4 kills it. Bazooka's charging forwards, but they're taking some damage from the Panzer IV now. Pretty clumped up as well. Gets out of there. P4 making such a big difference for Revolution's forces. Oh man, getting some really nice hits on with it as well. Might even lose the lieutenant on retreat here. Made into retreat infiltration grenades. And there, gets the wipe. Nice pick off there for Revolution. Turning things around here. 2 nice pick offs there, back to back. Let's free up a little bit of Popcat for Jove though. Could go for a second Jackson now. Still Revolution long VP 69 remaining and losing control of the center. G going up that way now though. Here comes the Calliope. Oh, just going for the infantry support gun tech structure area again. Did he drop major ID on this as well? Hard to see under... Yeah, I can see some flares under there. So it looks like the tech truck going to go down here. Well, I don't think he's noticed. He might lose his Stern Pioneers if he's unlucky. Major ID scattering like crazy. Oh, there we go. Gets a shell in. And there we go. Tech truck is down. Command Panther charging forwards. He's got in a little bit of trouble here. Doesn't want to risk chasing any further. Jackson getting some juicy hits long range on the P4. And Kitten is there though. Revolution holding strong in the middle. Kitten in a little bit of trouble. And double bar squads assaulting the south. 2v1ing the Obers.
Get your men covering the approaches.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
One thing we haven't seen too much of is cover to cover from Jove this game. Sprint in the smoke. Can be very helpful for outmaneuvering these machine guns. Got a little bit of munitions floating now as well. Has been spending a lot on grenades though. One department where he hasn't been floating too much. I think they're going to chase away a 50 cal up here. And it looks like Jove not going to go for another Jackson, as I thought. Just going to go for another AT gun. Interesting. Basically at his pop limit again. Make sure I'm putting down some light AT mines in the middle, trying to get the capture going. Revolution going to the far VP, knowing he's under a lot of threat. Ooh, big shot from the P4. This thing's making such a difference. 15 kills already. Causing Jove a few headaches. Looks like the Major might be about to go down here as well. Charging forwards. Some returning fire. No, Major does escape. Grenade in. Good retreat timing though for Revolution, but is relieving the VP pressure. Direct fire barraging the center for Jove. Looks like Revolution about to make a move on the south. Both his tanks, a little bit of infantry support coming down here. He's out the 50 cal quickly. M1 there, doesn't activate the AP ammo yet, but there it goes. And penetrates. 50 cal does get decrewed. M1 repositioning, but Revolution pulls back in time. Now bringing up his machine gun in support. Big shot on the bazookas. Now forced away. Oh, and now the Vet 2 Obers on top of the M1. And come the Calliope barrages. But very, very long range. Going for a kill on the machine gun, but doesn't get it. I thought maybe he's going for these two squads. Oh, the Ober's a little bit low here. And actually this squad does decrew the machine gun. And Jove getting the capping going in the middle. So Jove taking a few losses there, but he's got a huge manpower bank to recover from. Decal is decrewed up here, however. But you can see the perils of having like an AT gun being wheeled around. If the Obers get on top of it, it can go down very, very quickly. And you don't have enough AT support. Let's have a little bit extra AT support though, putting bazookas on the Major. Revolution now draining out 63, but he's done a pretty good job of stemming the tide. Was very, very far behind early. He's been holding his own pretty admirably the last 20 minutes or so.
Grab your shit and follow me. All right, fellas. Final checks.
Ooh, a lot of indirect fire connecting all at once there. Should be able to get away alive. Oof, Ober's getting there for some big damage. Vet 3 now. Squad coming in on the rear, flanking nicely for Jove, but the Vet 3 Ober's going to town. Riflemen dropping like flies.
They're down to 50 points. I say again,
Here comes the P4
Germans
back
have
up to
50
full.
We're losing a
And it
capture
looks like
point.
Revolution going for a Puma to back up, so he's going to go for a big all-in armor push, try to catch Jove out of position. Overwhelm him all at once. Because, you know, this, if he loses this Jackson's out of position, that's the linchpin for his whole army. These tanks will overrun him. He's maybe slightly overinvested in indirect fire, especially considering how it's being used at the moment. Not getting full results, not getting the wipes on the Calliope. That time he did drive closely, but maybe a little bit too obvious. Getting pushes forwards, forcing away the Scot. Artillery flares up. Should help him position for his next assault. Uma is here, finally. But yeah, maybe Jove just has one too many pieces of indirect fire this match. Hope it doesn't end up costing him. So he has a little bit of room in his army. Squeeze in one more unit potentially.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
MG facing the wrong direction here. Ooh, P4 getting some good hits in. M1 pushing. Bouncing its first shot though. Jackson pushing behind this. Rakitten in a really nice position. Jackson could be in trouble here. Rakitten lining up with great first shot. Jackson reacting now. Oh, a main gun crit again for Jove. That could be the green light for Revolution here. Oh man. Should forget about that. Rakitten goes down. P4 getting frisky. He gets around the rear of this AT gun. It's in some big trouble. AT gun connects. But no supporting squads for a snare, no bazookas up here. Looks like the AT gun's going to go down. Jove having to pull back. His Jackson still hasn't got it out for repairs yet. An AT gun does go down. Revolution also sneaking his way onto the north. But about to lose his Puma up there. But triple cap against Jove now, and he's getting low. About to tick under 100. Draining out fast. P4 taking out the M1. Looks like Jove gonna go for a Sherman here. Interesting call.
We've dropped to 100 points.
I thought, you know, he's got some pretty good infantry. He's got the Scot backing him up for the anti-infantry as well. I feel like double Jacksons wants to play quite a long time ago. Maybe instead of rebuilding that second M1. We'll see how it pans out for Jove. Long-range Calliope barrage into the base, I think.
Tank support is here. Sherman
Not getting
ready.
much done there, though. I feel like he's been misusing the Calliope quite a lot, honestly. Oof. The Scot getting in there for some big hits. Okay, the charging forwards misses first shot on the Scot. P4 coming forwards now as well. Gonna look for the AT grenade. Doesn't get it off. Squad getting low now. P4 gets another model. End up dropping a weapon. Shouldn't being upgraded. Dozer Blade and 50 cal. Okay, Command Panther coming around the side. Maybe gonna look for the Calliope or the Scott. Bazookas are there. Jackson bounces the first shot, but double bazookas are there. A lot of damage all at once. I think they're about half health, but the infantry is not there to repel the overs. Here comes the Sherman though. Leaving it in AP mode just in case he needs the extra anti-tank. Still enough to force back the infantry here, especially once he pops the machine gun upgrade. Command Panther misses his first shot, firing on the move there. Overs do get forced away. Sherman, don't overplay your hand with it. Command Panther picking shots long range thanks to his excellent line of sight. Revolution has managed to sneak his way up to this northern VP though. Scott heading up this way to shut that down. A T-grenade's gonna connect. Oh, Panther could be going down. Jackson on the chase down, but has nothing to provide sight. And feels it's too risky. P4 blitzes over, try and assist, but Jackson doesn't go for the chase down. Oh, Scott going to take a Faust here. We'll go down to one shot. Joe pushing out from every angle now. Sending his officer with the sprint over to cap the VP. Good idea. 75 VPs left. Tense stuff here. Across the map. Capping going on at all angles. G getting softened up by the mortar. At this point now neutral. Bazookas charging at the Panzer IV. I mean, he's capping the fuel, but there's no point. It's just a VP war at this stage, and he doesn't need it. Neither does Revolution. 400 in the bank. All about the VPs, baby. Before comes forward, but still on prioritized vehicles. And Captain does get the cap off. Bazooka's bouncing, but still doing a little bit of damage. Time connecting. Bet 4 on the Obers now. They're getting scary, properly scary. Jove capping in the center. Oh, and Revolution left the VP. Okay, he's getting back on it now. But it might be a little bit too late. 15 remaining. No, he's trying to sneak away to the north. We do have a Calliope up here. Perfect time to shut down this capture. Here comes the Scott though. Don't know where the Calliope's going. And that's the game. Last few VPs drain out. Close match. Jove just slightly edging it out. Had a really good phase there where he knocked out a couple squads of Revolution, knocked out the Panzer IV, which kept Revolution under his thumb. Revolution started to make a comeback towards the end there, but couldn't quite get the job done. Jove able to close it out. Bit disappointed with the Calliope usage of Jove, but I suppose it did allow him to knock out this tech truck, which did allow him to push a little bit more aggressively. And maybe the second M1 replacement didn't quite work out for him, but overall a very good game by both players. Well, I'll wrap on that, guys. If you'd like your game to be cast by me, details in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you off the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.